Hi, I'm Morgan from Rivendell, Shetlands, and with me here today is my lovely assistant and the beautiful Shetland sheep, Charlotte. So Shetland sheep are what I have primarily on my farm, and I use them mostly for fiber. Though they are a dual breed, they grow a huge fleece every year, and you only shear once a year. Shetlands are considered a primitive breed, so they come in 11 different colors and have over 30 marking patterns that they can have in different combinations. Charlotte here is one of my black sheep. Shetlands are only shorn once a year in the spring, so she has about half a year's growth on her. In the spring, I shear and I'll get a fleece about this size off of Charlotte or any of my other Shetlands. So that fleece looks pretty big, and it weighs between 2 and 4 pounds, and it can be as long as up to about 4 inches. So the fleece itself is made up of a couple different parts. You can tell where their back legs were, where they laid on it the most. Up near their neck, you have some of the finer fleece. So generally, once it's shorn, we put it on a skirting table like this. We shake out all the extra little bits of hay and fluff and little bits of vegetable matter, and then we pull off all the little gross bits. Kind of think about their armpits and things like that. Those are the stuff that we don't want to make sweaters out of. So after we pull it into different sections, we wash it all up. And to wash a fleece, you need really, really hot water because fleece has a natural oil on it called lanolin. And lanolin is often used in different cosmetics, and it was used in World War II as a natural lubricant and grease. So lanolin has to be washed out, as well as all of the dirt, and then once it's washed, we're gonna put it through a process that's called picking. And this is a picker here, and it's a super dangerous tool. What it has is a whole bunch of angled nails, and those angled nails take the fleece, and as you put a piece in it, it slowly swings across, and it creates what's called cloud. And so right here on the end as it's coming off is cloud. And cloud is the first step of fiber processing after you wash. What this does is it pulls all the little tight tangles and kind of loosens everything up. Think about it as like picking out your hair. So once you have cloud, you can spin with this right away to start making yarn, but it's a little chaotic and messy. So generally, at this stage, you're either going to put it on a drum carder and create a bat, or you're gonna dye it up to create some fun multicolored pieces. But for dyeing, you can do that pretty much any of the stage after washing, because you can't really dye up oily things. So for a drum carder, you're gonna take all this beautiful cloud that we have, and we're going to card it. And as you can see when you turn it, we've got 1 drum, 2 drum, 3 drums on this one. And it is combing the hair. So kind of like a dog comb, it takes the fiber and it pulls it into the same direction. So this is a bat that came off of a drum carder. And when I add a little bit of tension, you can see how just like with human hair, it all goes in the same direction. So when you're putting something into the drum carder, these are kind of pokey. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have enough clearance and you're leaving lots of room, and you're just gonna slowly let it start to take up. And as you can imagine, it takes quite a bit to get it going, and you're gonna run it through a couple of different times. But once you have something lovely like this, you can take it to your spinning wheel. And this is my spinning wheel that I have with me right now. This is a Louette. It's made in Holland, and it's one of my favorite wheels. It's called an upright wheel because, as you can see, everything is right upright. And a spinning wheel is a pretty simple machine when you think about it. You have a treadle, which is down here, which is what my foot goes on, which drives the wheel, got a drive bin here, which turns our flyer, which is this whole piece right here, that is a whole bunch of hooks. These hooks decide where on the bobbin it's going to wrap up. Then we have a tension right here, and this tension makes it so that when everything is turning, this flyer will pause occasionally and wrap the yarn on. So I'll get started. So as I treadle, we've got that twist, and then my hands are controlling the twist. So my front hand controls if the twist is going into the fiber, and my back hand controls how much fiber is getting into the twist. So if I want really thick yarn, I let a lot of fiber in there. Or if I want really thin yarn, I just put a tiny bit of fiber in there. And you could almost sew with that, it's so tiny. But you're gonna ask what happens if it breaks, right? Because it breaks. What you do is you load up a whole bunch of extra twist. You lay your fresh fiber there, you let the twist catch, and you get a seamless join. So now I have all of this yarn right here, ready to go on a bobbin. What do I do next? Well, you can knit with it just like this, or you can weave with it. But I usually do this thing that's called plying. And plying is where you take the yarn, you put it together with another piece. Oh, that didn't work out very well. That's okay. Hang on. I put it with another piece to create what's called a 2-ply yarn. So let me grab some examples. All 3 of these are 2-ply yarns from my Shetland sheep. So I have an older sheep, Isabella, who was black, who is related to our lovely Charlotte that we saw at the very beginning. We have a Desiree in the middle, and we have a Galenda in the brown. And remember, those Shetland sheep, these are all natural colors, so there's no dye added, there's nothing. This is just washed, picked, carded, spun, and ready to turn into a finished project. And you might wonder what kind of things you could make with something like this. Well, you could weave a lovely shawl like this that was actually woven by my dad. And it's one of his handmade pieces. Or you could knit up with some dyed yarn a beautiful shawl. Or you could felt up some slippers to keep your feet warm this winter. Regardless, I'm happy that you could join me here at Rivendell Shetlands and have a lovely fair. Expect the unexpected and enjoy.